Understanding Day Trading.
A plus masterclass level setups talk about how to find specific trade entries. Of course, we will keep using our best indicator with our best momentum-based scalping strategy. There are so many subjects to discuss today. If you are ready, shall we begin? Just checking out one of the top gainer coins today, Super Coin. It is an interesting coin to watch. If you look at the weekly chart, it just swept the previous week low and day low, then rallied back upwards, trying to hunt the previous week high. In the daily chart, we can notice this imbalance. It is calling the price, giving us more reasons to rally upwards. If you ask me, how did all the price movement started? As you can see at the bottom, this daily imbalance failed. Then price swept P, H, L and PDL, and then buyers took the control and kept pushing the price upwards, creating this bullish momentum imbalances. This should give you an idea about the overall bias. If we just check out the hourly chart, we can practice our masterclass skills again. In this hourly imbalance area, price sweeps the liquidity, the inducement, and moving upwards, creating our masterclass structure box. And within this support and resistance flip location, notice how the price rallies. This is the area that we care for because it presents today. This is how this coin became one of the top gainers today. I can call this pretty solid bias analysis for specific reasons like this one. Now here is the important part, the momentum layout. Price came really close to the previous week high, but having a momentary pit stop, dropping a little into this 30-minute imbalance area. This happens just right before hunting the previous week high. Let's open the area in 1 minute time frame and talk about alternative entry styles. So in this specific 30-minute imbalance location, price fully fills this inner 1 minute imbalance and hits this small SR flip location. So this is the area that I will be seeking my entry. Also at the top, you can notice these inner equal highs. This gives me more reasons to move upwards. Right here in our entry zone, a small price switch happens. Remember the daily time frame? The exact same thing happens here. So basically a bullish imbalance fails and buyers took the control. Price switches had to enter us trades before market structure breaks. So this could have been a usable to our setup here. But what if we wanted to wait for a structure shift? We just cannot trust a price switch sometimes. Here how the structure shifts. However, as you can see, we have another problem. This could have been much harder to trade. It is a very expensive entry with a large target. And also this trade could have been taken 3 hours to be completed, not a scalping anymore. I know. It is extremely hard to make these RR-based trades from time to time. Then the last option left is dividing your orders into pieces, basically using different style of cost averaging techniques. For example, in this case, I would have set 2 entries, at least 2 entries, with a mental stop loss. One, right after the price switch. I will directly jump to trade. The other one, at the bottom area for extra possible liquidity grab. This could have been giving you around 3% move, enough for a good day profits. But what if the price crashes further? Then you should let the other orders play out, create yourself an average. So one advantage of cost averaging is break-even trades, much easier and less costly. If I hated this trade, I could have cut it when the price hits or get close to my average price. I hope that this was an educational video and enlighten you about trading styles. This coin was our number one top gainer coin today. It had amazing price action to observe and learn. Starting from the weekly chart, please notice this weekly imbalance. I want you to keep this in mind. Also remember this SR Philip location at top. Here's another trick for you. SR Philip locations are great entry areas, but also great target areas as well, especially combined with imbalances. When I drop to the daily chart, the first thing you can notice is this lovely equal highs above, right below our weekly imbalance. Now we have the perfect target to hunt here. This is a masterclass level target. When you check out the bottom side, you can notice the daily market structure shift. But more importantly, this daily imbalance fails, creating a price switch. So what are all these price action telling me? It tells me that sellers lost control here, buyers taking back the control of the price. Now we need to check the momentum layout. Right before filling the weekly imbalance, notice how the price pulls back into a multi-level imbalance zone. It gives an entry area to check and look for possible trades. If I just open the 5-minute time frame on the left side, you can observe further price action. A beautiful support and resistance flip location which combined with previous day high as an amplifier, right at the intersection of multi-level imbalances. Such an amazing location to seek trades. Now let's zoom in the area and talk further. In this 5-minute chart, the first thing you can notice is inner small equal highs above as well. So I have so many reasons for this price to go up eventually. But the problem is where and when. What kind of clues can we seek for the entries? First of all, notice how this inner 5-minute bearish imbalance fails and the bullish imbalance takes over. Just the way I teach in the Momentum Masterclass, this is a great indication for trades if there is no clear market structure break. So you can build an almost 2-hour setup here, a nice possible trade. Alternatively, if you miss that, you can notice the 5-minute break happens much later, then the price drops into an inner imbalance. This could be your chance for secondary a compact entry. Nothing wrong here. But I hear you out. You are sick of these risk-reward based trades and you're always getting stopped out. Is there an alternative way of trading? Unfortunately, the only option left is cost average based techniques like yo-yo. What you do here is divide your orders into smaller pieces. This can be 1, 2, 3, 5, almost 10 pieces if you need it. In this way, you will not have a hard stop loss, but a mental stop loss. You will be controlling your stop manually. Today, let us discuss these 3 entry models which I use the most and how to find great entry locations with momentum strategy. Do not worry, I will go into extreme detail in step-by-step action. So, the Ben coin was one of the top gainer coins of the day and it had a highly strong momentum. And right in this location, you can notice price dips into this multi-level imbalance location, tapping the 30 and 45-minute imbalances and 1 and 2 hour imbalances as well. This is one of the ways of finding entry zones extremely quickly. This method will work on any asset like Forex, stocks, gold, as long as they have a rally or crash on that specific day. Now let me drop to the 5-minute charts and talk about low time frame entry models. Okay, first of all, this is the exact moment of 4 different imbalances being tapped from the higher time frames we just observed. This is how you find your entry zone and start seeking trade entries. Notice what really happens here. Price sweeps liquidity. and further taps into these inner imbalances on the left. At this moment, we know that this price has filled up. We have the fill to move upwards basically. And right at this point, you can make a confirmationless entry only based on the fill. But be really careful. In order to use this entry model, you will need a large stop loss because the price can drop further. Your stop should be large enough to digest for extra movements. Next way of entry is seeing a price switch between buyers and sellers and the trend itself. Best way to do this is using imbalances. Notice right here a 5-minute bearish imbalance fails, and the momentum imbalance start to appear in the bullish side. This is a kind of pre-confirmation actually without a full structure shift. This could be another style of entry. My last model is my most common model with full confirmation using the market structure break and the imbalances. As you can see, price breaks upwards and dips back into this BPR and imbalance location. And this is actually the overall PDH, previous day high amplifier location as well from the masterclass, making the area stronger for the entry. I hope things are clear enough for you at the moment. Okay, let me make a very clear recap for you, so things will be much better to understand. First, you find yourself an entry zone in the higher timeframes, like multi-timeframe imbalances, or maybe order block demands, or optimal trade entry, or big liquidity sweeps. It doesn't matter. And now you are about to make an entry. You notice the inner liquidity sweep with imbalance tap. Now we know that this price is filled up here. I may jump to trade here with a very large stop loss or even building a yo-yo based cost average setup. Remember, this is the riskier way to trade because we have no confirmation at all here. Large stop loss or cost averaging is essential here. Next is kind of a pre-confirmation, which I call the price switch. What you are waiting for here is a change in imbalances. A failure of, for example, a bearish imbalance, followed by a working bullish momentum imbalance. This at least gives me some sort of confirmation here. And the last model is the model that you all know, waiting for a full shift in the structure based on the market structure. This is the confirmation type of entry. I think this is the least risky way to trade, but it takes a lot of time to wait for this. So not bad, we covered my most favorite and best strategies and entry models in a single video. Today, I'll show you one winning and one losing trade, and also share the easy secret of trading that everyone keeps forgetting. By using our lovely indicator called ICT High Time Frames, we were able to see a possible entry location in this coin. But also we can read more than that. We can read the power and the momentum. Notice the two are chart deep on the right. How the imbalance fails right here. After that, bullish imbalances appear and hold really well. This is the easiest trick that you can see the dominance in the market. If you just check the recent price action, price is holding against these three multi-imbalances, giving us a possible entry zone. When you open your lower time frames, like in this case, it is the 3-minute chart on the left, you will notice the exact reaction point right here. Let's check it out in even closer action. What happens here? An inner liquidity sweep, followed by market structure break, leaving this entry imbalance, also overall inner SR Philip location. What an amazing trade, right? It is just amazing two are set up here. Or it is not. Let me show you a loss right now. Here is another coin from today called bread. Again, you can notice the multi-imbalance area, a great location of an entry. This time actually 3 imbalance type at once. Again, opening the 3-minute time frame on the left, so we can see the exact point of the reaction. Just like the previous example, everything is same. Now, I am zooming again one more time to talk about the exact entry. In our entry location price sweeps inner liquidity, then a very strong market structure break. It is also a great inner SR wave location again. Then this great imbalance area, what an amazing setup to enter. But wait a minute, it failed, it just stopped out. What a crappy indicator and a strategy. It is just crappy and useless. I must quit trading right today, right now. Just look at these two trades. Two different coins on the same day. One win and one loss. And it is 100% same setup. We must think about this for a second. So let's question this. What really just happened here? The winning setup. Multi-imbalance area, inner liquidity sweep, inner SR flip zone, market structure break, and imbalance entry. What about the losing setup? Multi-imbalance area, inner liquidity sweep, inner SR flip zone, market structure break, and the imbalance entry. Wait, what? 100% exactly the same setup. Zero difference at all. How is this even possible? It sometimes works, and it does not work another time. It is all because you cannot see the future. Every strategy will work and fail. Most traders avoid accepting this. You are avoiding accepting taking a loss. Your inner fear does not accept this reality and it keeps searching for that holy grail with 100% win rate. However, the secret you seek is actually already here. It is inside mathematics and statistics. If you just take the same setup 100 times, just like tossing a coin, if it only works 50 times and fails 50 times, then you'll be making money. This is the end of story. This is the end of your holy grail search. This is the truth that you have been seeking for years after years. We had a beautiful setup with Nasdaq today right around the New York Open. As you already know, we have a very simple trading momentum scalping technique. And we focus on our beloved ICT high time frame candles indicator. By using this indicator, I can spot early rally starts and entry locations. So this is not a buy or sell indicator. It's just only helping me point out great trade locations. As you can see right here, we have this multi-level imbalance area. Price rallies and pulls back into 30 and 45-minute imbalances. I know that this could be a great location for a rally start, an early start point to look for entries. If you check out 1 and 2 hour time frames, you will also notice full momentum imbalances. What are all these imbalances telling me? It tells me that buyers are in control here. Remember, in these crazy markets, buyers and sellers can change hands very quickly every day, even every hour. So, if you open the 1 minute time frame on the left side, you will notice the exact point of where the pullback happened. So, this is the price location that I will start seeking entries from, because I know that this could be a great rally point to start. Now, we zoom in the area. Let's talk further. It is also an inner, small support and resistance flip location in a sense. You can also see the forming liquidity upside, classic smart money tactics that I teach in the masterclass. Okay, as you can see, structure shifts here. But the small pullback is very weak into this micro imbalance. Catching the trade right at this imbalance will be extremely hard for many people. After all, this is just a 1 minute chart. Things happen extremely quickly. So, what can you do here? So, the best approach is jumping into trade at some point. This will give you a 1 hour trade chance, not great at all. One-to-one trades are actually not really beneficial. But what can you do is take the 50% profit at your main target and let the rest of the trade run. This trade will not make you rich, I'll be honest, but at least it will make you some cash. So, what really happened here in this classic price action? First, we noticed that Nasdaq was in a rally today. It created this lovely multi-level imbalance point. We acknowledged that the area as a possible rally ignition zone and we started to seek entries. Rest is simple structure observing. As you know, we do not jump the trades. We wait for an inner structure shift to take the trade. Classic smart money and price action tactics. When I was looking at this number one daily top gainer coin, the Orca coin, I noticed a great price action. In the daily chart, price was being pushed by this large daily imbalance. And at the top, we have these great liquidity points, previous week high and the previous month high. So in my mind, I had a great reason to long this coin. I have this bullish bias on this coin. Then of course, what helped me a lot was the momentum layout. If you notice, the early rally started right here, at the multi-imbalance top area. Price ignited there, pushed like crazy upwards, almost hunted the institutional liquidity points above. So in my mind, this was the repetitive pattern. I expected the same thing happen one more time. This multi-level imbalance area above was really interesting. I was expecting the exact same price action like the below. Looking for a big push upwards again to hunt all those liquidity above. When I opened the 5-minute time frame on the left, I have noticed two things. First, the support and resistance flip location with the previous day high amplifier. And secondly, our classic multi-level imbalance location above. So, all in all, I had these two significant price action locations to trade. Two trade chances. So what did I do? I jumped the trade with a yo-yo entry in the first place, without any stop loss. I had the mental stop loss in my mind. And secondly, I had this limit order set right below, at the support and resistance flip location, just right around the previous day high point. In the end, I managed to create this average price, but the price was so weak. It did not do what I want to do at first. I did not have a full loss here. When the price popped above a bit, I had to cut the trade with around 2% loss. So, what is the aim of this video? What are the lessons we need to take here? First of all, every single strategy in the world will not work all the time. Some days strategies fail and some days they work. Every trader in the world loses money. There's no exception. There's no trader who keeps winning every single day. It is highly unlikely. And lastly, cutting a loss may feel bad at first, but after all, you will be losing some money. But you must get used to this feeling. Cutting a loss is the only way to save your account in the long run. After taking a loss, I was looking for ways to cover the loss from yesterday, and this bread coin looked like a viable option for me. It was another top gainer coin of the day, and it was ideal to look for longs. In this hourly chart, you can notice that it generally respects its imbalances before rallying. Also, seeing the specific price level felt really great. Support and resistance flip location combined with previous week high amplifier. And all of these were happening in the location of hourly imbalance. What a nice location to look for a trade. Now, of course, how did I find this coin besides it was the top gainer? Of course, the ICT high time frame indicator helped me a lot with this. The moment I saw the 4-level imbalance location, it already got into my trading list. Seeing the 30 and 45-minute imbalances and also the 1 and 2 hour imbalances gave me extra confidence. Plus, you can see the SR flip location on the right side. This is why I love this indicator so much. It is just showing me the important parts of the chart, removing all the other clutter. So I do not need to get lost in so many trading concepts here. Now, let's talk about the entry. Now, in this low time frame chart, everything looks clear as you can see. Here is our entry location, which we used our indicator to find out, and also our SR flip in clear detail. Now, for this trade, I was not specially waiting for any kind of entry confirmation. Instead, I just used our simple yo-yo to manage this trade. With the right location, I jumped to trade with the first yo-yo entry. A simple market order, nothing complicated here. Then I placed a limit order right below the liquidity point in case it drops further for an extra liquidity trap. And lastly, I noticed this great fuel location, a combination of parabolic liquidity and imbalance together. I did not place any order here. Just take a note of it for a possible third yo-yo entry. Luckily, it did not need any extra yo-yo here. First entry was sufficient enough. Price rallied like 10% from my entry zone. As you can see, strategies will work and fail in a regular basis. There's no holy grail or way of always win-win-win. I took a loss, now I took a win. Trading is a long journey with so many challenges. I think it is a good day to talk about this magnificent coin called Turbo. Yesterday and today it was just a superior day for the bull traders. I hope that you enjoyed it as well. By using our indicator ICT high time frames candles, we were able to analyze the entry locations. The coin gave us a total of 3 amazing entry areas, all thanks to our indicator. It all started right at the bottom with a multi-top location consisting of multi-time frame imbalances. Then the same thing happened above. And then the same thing happened one more time. As you can see, a repetitive pattern keeps following each other, one after another, the way I teach in the masterclass. If we just open the 5-minute charts on the left, and by using these horizontal lines, we can see how the 3 rallies started. So, we know how the 3 rallies ignited. Now let's talk about the entry models. Let me observe the price section in close action, starting with the rally number 1, the bottom rally. Notice how the price sweeps inner liquidity and taps the inner imbalance. This is how the price fills up in the price action world. And then small structure shifts. Even if you jump the trade very late, it's still tradable 2 are here. Now notice the second rally. Price sweeps inner equal lows and taps this inner imbalance for the fill. And again, structure shifts one more time. This again can give you a 2 hour setup. This time, our future target is actually an institutional level, PDH, the previous day high. Finally, let's talk about the third rally. Notice what we have here. A SAR flip location combined with a PDH amplifier as your entry, plus an inner imbalance as well. And you will see the microstructure break or a price switch here. Another 2-hour trade shot. This time our future target will be the PMH, the previous month high. Now all these 2-hour setups are great, but actually these are not easy to build. Not every one of you will be able to build setups like this in the micro time frames. Then what else can you do? If you have trouble with micro setups, just go back to building these gigantic setups in our overall entry locations. Your entries does not need to be specific. These gigantic setups will have a very large stop losses, so you will not be instantly stopped out. So what is the advantage of these mega setups? First of all, you will be trading much less. It will prevent your over trading habits because you will be in a position in a longer time and wait. And you will not be instantly stopped out. You can just go and relax, make yourself a coffee or cook a meal or something. Let the trade play out, win or lose. It has been a long time since we checked out the Bitcoin, but remember, price action is the same everywhere. As long as we have momentum, we can trade the similar strategies with any assets. Early in the morning, BTC rallied really fast and pulled back into this multi-imbalance zone. This alone gave us trade ideas, at least a practical trade zone. In the 1-hour chart, we can notice very interesting price action altogether. Keep this in mind. This is the point of multi-imbalance tabs zone from the momentum layout. Now notice the super BPR. 3 imbalances in a straight line. Who remembers the super BPR? Type the super BPR in the comment section if you remember it. If we just zoom out in the 1-hour chart again, we can also observe the 1 week worth of price action. Price rallies like crazy in the recent days and creating this gigantic imbalance zone. And then it just pulls back, and it pulls back into nice SR flip zone combined with imbalance. This is a great example of our classic price action concepts. Now let's get back our recent trade idea again. So back to today, down to the lower time frames like this 3-minute chart. Price taps into this super BPR location combined with a multi-imbalance point. You already know that. With our deepest low, market structure changes as you can see. Okay, today I want to talk about price action fuel points. What makes the price move like crazy most of the time? I want you to notice these equal lows right here. And right below it, we have the small BPR as you notice. This is how the price fills up and gives us a tradable, at least a 2-hour compact setup. Let me recap everything and show you how the price fills up one more time. First of all, you find yourself an entry zone, a demand or a supply zone of any kind, it does not matter. Then you start to seek an entry. You notice the structure shift in the lower time frame. At this point, confirming a liquidity point, an inner liquidity point with imbalance would be magical like in this example, because liquidity sweep plus imbalance tap is the number one field of price action concepts and analysis. In our theory, this is how the price actually moves from one point to another most of the time. Finally, why do we use compact and smaller setups. Why do we avoid the greed? Because markets are unpredictable. Buyers and sellers change hands so quickly. Trends change in a matter of minutes, and the world is really crazy, especially nowadays. You, me, or any other trader in the world do not know the future. We have no idea about the future. This is the reality. Get in and get out. Cut your losses. Keep some runners. This is the way. If you woke up today and started to look for trades, today was a really strong and positive day for the coins. Most of them rally with large green daily candlesticks, and also USDT dominance is mostly weak. And there was this lovely coin to check out, GMT USDT, one of the top gainer coins. By using our beloved indicator called ICT High Time Frames Indicator, you can see and analyze the multi-time frames at once. The early rally started way before with this imbalance area, but we are not concerned with it. What to look for is recent price action. Right at this multi-imbalance area, price pulls back and hits this 4 multi-time frame imbalances at once. This gives you the perfect idea and zone to look for a trade. Now, switching into lower time frames, the price action will be more clear and meaningful. You will see it. First of all, this is the point of our 4 imbalance hit from the momentum layout. The area that you will be looking for a trade. At the top, you can see this liquidity gathering. It is kind of a relative equal highs, but not perfect. Hard to call them equal at all. But at least we know that liquidity gathering upwards. In our entry location, you can notice a simple structure shift. And you can use this as your entry. Now, this is an idea of a 2-hour compact setup. But I want to discuss further. First of all, what really happens here? What are we actually trading for years? Yes, price hit these multi-imbalance locations for us to look for trades. No brainer, we all know that. And we also use this liquidity as our target, basically aiming for stop losses. But actually, what really happens here? We need to discover it. What really happens here is a simple power of 3, PO3. Actually, the whole idea of momentum coin scalping is based on a power of 3 setup. You can see the clear analysis of the PO3 in the candlesticks on the left. What does the power of 3 actually consist of? 1. The fill. Price sweeps, liquidity, and possibly hits an imbalance area, fully filling up. This is generally the first step. 2. Target. Target should be in the opposite side of the PO3. It should be either liquidity or imbalance or the combination of both of them. 3. The structure shift. Structure must shift before the trade. So the buyers and sellers change hands. I hope that this was an educational video for you. The ultimate price action setup. Render coin had a spectacular trading example today, one of the A++ setups. In the daily chart, you can notice that price deep dived into this imbalance zone. It also swept the liquidity inside as you notice. So what happened here? In the daily time frame, price is filled up by using imbalance and liquidity combination. And at the top, you can notice this lovely relative equal highs, which is also combined with the previous week high, a strong magnetic target for us. What an amazing daily setup here. I just love this. So we have a full bullish bias on this coin right now. However, the question is, how did we find out about this coin? It did not magically appear on our computers. It is so simple. We just sorted the top gainer coins. And we had a quick momentum layout check with our lovely indicator. This showed us this magnificent trade zone, a multi-level imbalance zone on the top gainer coin. That's it. This is how we find out about this coin under 5 minutes. Now, all we need to observe the entry area and talk about possible entry in the lower time frames. Okay, let's take a look at the close price action now. At the top, we have this optimal target location. This gives us an ultimate target to play with. At the bottom, right around our multi-level imbalance zone, notice how the inner liquidity builds and price sweeps it. Right after this, a structure shift gives us the first clue about the entry here. This is a very ideal setup for a compact 2R. Plus, we have more room to play with, so you can push the price a little bit more upwards. Now we need to truly understand the price action here. Let's recap everything we learned. First, our top gainer coin hits this multi-level imbalance zone. So we have an idea about possible trade here. What actually happens here is actually a range and a deviation setup. In our entry location, price sweeps the inner liquidity and changes the inner structure for good. Then it gives you time to play with this 2R compact setup. Again, all this action actually happens at the range deviation location, which is fueled by inner liquidity and imbalance. What a magnificent A++ setup from top-down analysis here. I just loved it. In trading, especially using higher time frames or swing trading, the most important thing you find out is your overall bias. So you may trade in the direction of your bias. Easy trick to understand the bias is using high time frame candles like daily and weekly candlesticks. I was quite bullish on the Nasdaq in the recent weeks, but why? Let's turn it now. When you look at the daily or weekly candlesticks, the easiest approach to finding your bias is observing the imbalances. If you notice bullish, large imbalances, this is your first sign of strength of the buyers. The other trick is candlesticks. If the previous day or week high extremely strongly broken with the body like this is also a great sign. Basically, the buyers are dominating the sellers in both cases. However, if you notice that bullish imbalances started to fail and are not holding anymore, this is your first sign of weakness in the bulls. Or the break is quite weak. It turns back into like a hammer shape, basically becoming a swing failure pattern, SFP. This is your weakness. It means that bulls are being rejected by the bears. When you notice a new bearish imbalance start to appear and it is crashing the price, this is your main weakness in the price. This means that sellers took the control back from the buyers. Or you noticed a very strong break downwards, another great sign of bearish bias. Here you see, in 5 minutes you find yourself a main bias. Not that hard, right? But how to use this bias? This is the golden question. Now you use main daily or weekly candles to find yourself a bias. In the high time frames, you understood this part. Rest is observing the lower time frames like hourly or maybe minute-based charts and using the fill concepts. In the upper trend, for example, using inner liquidity sweeps, especially with imbalanced tabs as your entries. This is not a complicated setup, actually rather simple. All you need is just some patience. When I was looking at the weekly Nasdaq chart, what I noticed? Nasdaq was actually crashing really badly. and we all expected a new strong breaks downwards. The bearish momentum actually failed right here, no break at all. Instead, look at the upper breaks. Stronger breaks and no swing failure pattern. However, at this time, look at this downward break. It is a swing failure pattern. Yes, it is a bearish break, but it is quite weak and instantly rejected by the buyers, turned into an SFP. How about the daily chart? Please observe the most breaks on the upper side. As you can see, strong breaks most of the time. But look at the downside breaks. All rejected and became swing failure patterns. So what does this tell me? Every drop rejected by buyers, and sellers cannot dominate the buyers. Buyers simply absorb every single drop, as you can notice. Basically, my bias is bullish. So my target was hitting this imbalance area above. It actually hit yesterday, Friday night. When you drop the time frame to hourly charts or minute-based charts, as a swing trader or even day trader, your main job is finding entries on the long side, since your bias is bullish. And your best chance is these nice fill points. Notice this triple lower liquidity point, and right below a large big imbalance. A magnificent place to fill up and keep going upwards. It is also actually supported by this SR Philip location as well. Again, once you find your bias, the rest of the job is finding lower time frame entries based on the fill points. I hope that this video was a clear example for you. Let's take a look at this top gainer of the day, IMX coin. Let's talk about bias and the target first. When I open the weekly time frame, what do I see here? This coin was crashing really badly. However, at some point, this crash stopped. This bearish imbalance failed really badly, as you can see. And now started to seeing some momentum imbalances. Basically, in general, buyers started to dominate the sellers on this coin. Plus, the buyers are so strong that keep protecting the lows, as you can see. So basically, the overall momentum, the overall bias upwards in this coin. In the daily time frame, there are interesting things to check out, such as this weighting previous month high and the previous week high points above. Thus, I can think of these two as my future possible targets. When I open the momentum layout on the strong daily rally, price pulled back, now starting to react in these multiple imbalance zones. These are the locations where I can look for some trade ideas. Now let's take a look at the lower time frames and discuss further possible entry models. Now I want to talk about the field-based entry models here. As you notice, right in these low time frames, an inner structure break happens, followed by an imbalance. Now this is the easiest type of fill. Only by using an imbalance tab, you can build a 2-hour compact setup here. The alternative way of entry is using a combination of imbalance and inner liquidity sweep, like in this example. Again, you can use a 2-hour compact setup. And this strategy can be used actually any type of assets. To recap things in graphics, there are two types of fill that you can use. First, imbalance, and second, imbalance with inner liquidity sweep. As you know, in the price action concept, more confirmation is better. So basically, using an imbalance tab combined with an inner liquidity sweep actually gives you a better chance of power and trade. But remember, in trading, nothing is certain. Our best trading strategy will always be managing our risk and limiting our losses. This is how you survive in the trading game, not by strategies, by risk management. Let's chat about bias and entry models. When I look at the weekly chart like this, you can quickly get a simple bias idea. Notice the failed weekly imbalance here. A gigantic imbalance fails. And then bullish momentum imbalance appears. Then a bullish structure break. So overall, I can say that bears are getting weak and the bulls are stronger in this asset. As you can see, very simple idea, very easy to get a bias. But what made this coin the top gainer, one of the top gainer was the daily pump. Look at this gigantic pump and move, a single massive candlestick. So in general, this multi-imbalance area could be a nice zone to look for more trades. But what kind of trades? Let's open the lower time frame and discuss different kind of entry models you may use and learn how we can manage the risks. In this low time frame, we know that this is the drop zone of multi-time frame imbalances, and a secondary rally may start right here. Also, if you check the left side, this inner 1 minute imbalance supports the inner movement. First of all, notice the small version of our weekly price action in this 1 minute chart. An imbalance fails and followed by a momentum imbalance. So this could be a trade idea. Why not? There is no full confirmation here as you can see, but at least it gives us an opportunity, an idea maybe. What about the structure break and better confirmation? You can always sit and wait for the market structure to break like here and jump the trade with a nice inner imbalance like this one. This would be an opportunity gain for another 2-hour setup. Will it work or fail? Only God knows, because we don't know the future. What if you miss the trade? Then you sit and follow the price action until an entry opportunity presents itself. Notice the equal lows here. We are still in the structure break upwards, remember. Equal low is a nice feel for us. I can use this as my trade idea as well. If you notice, none of these entries are actually perfect. But as a trader, we must try and take some trades. So, what if I take 3 times 2-hour setup every single day? It's kind of over trading, but let's observe the idea anyway. If I take a 3 times a loss in a row with 1 hour, basically 1% of my account, then I will be losing 3% of my total account just in a single day, just today. How about 2 losses and just 1 win? Then I would be ending the day with a break-even, all day's work gone, no loss or gain in the account. However, if I get 1 loss and a 2 win, then I would be having a 3% on my account. Lastly, if I can get a 3 wins, I would be rocking a 6% gain in my account. You see, this is what I call risk management. Strategies are just simple tools. What matters is how to manage your greed and risks.
Thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe.